How's it going? This is Michael over at JB Financial. I hope that you guys are all staying safe. Hope you guys are well and making the best of things despite what we're going through with this pandemic. Hopefully things will get better soon. Keep praying on it. Keep working towards it. Keep being a good neighbor and keep paying attention to things going around you so you can make decisions for you and your family and your communities to keep them safe and keep them healthy. Really quick. Good news, right? The government will be releasing more additional funds for the CARES Act programs related to small businesses, and particularly the PPP program and the Small Business Disaster Loan Program. Okay, I know initially I told people, hey, don't be worried, don't focus so much on the grant, focus more on the loan aspect of it. For clarification, here's what I meant. Yes, there's a grant. Yes, there's a forgivable portion of the PPP loan, and there is an advance that goes along with those loans also. But what I was saying was, worry about qualifying for the loan before you worry about the grant, because they're going, at the end of the day, if you're not, in my opinion, was my educated guess was, if you weren't a good loan prospect, you want to be don't worry about the grant, right? Because they go hand in hand. You know, I didn't see people. I was under the impression you weren't getting one if you're not getting the other one. All right. Some good news. People have gotten the advances so far, and people have been funded. Despite all the things that went on last week with the larger companies taking some of these loans out, and the funds being depleted, I've heard stories about smaller companies getting these advances and getting these loans, okay, which is great, all right? So I think this second round of funding, one of the purposes of it is to make more money accessible to smaller companies. So we'll see how we can go. But here's what your job is going to be. You need to make sure that you're loan ready, okay? You need to make sure, when I say loan ready, you got your financials together. You got your tax returns 2019 together. I know we'll get an extension of filing them. And from what I'm seeing, some banks are taking drafts. So get them prepared, okay? And because the bankers are going to need them. Get your financials together. I've seen a lot of people not needing P&L statements at the last second. I mean, because good businesses, right? They can't afford to hire an accountant. They don't have a bookkeeper on staff, or they can't afford to outsource one. So they're keeping track of things by banking. They have a ledger sheet, but they need things in a format that banks will understand. At the very least, an Excel spreadsheet. So start getting these things together if you don't have them. When your bank asks you for something, your goal is to get it to them by the end of the business day. All right? So that means you got to get some. That means if you don't have the resources, the computer programs online, that you're going to be in line with a financial professional like my company, or accountant, CPA, bookkeeper. Somebody can help you prepare your documents relatively quickly, because the time that you're going to be trying to get these documents together is the time that the banks are going to get that money to somebody else. That's just economic, that's just reality talking. When they put these programs together, they were great programs, but they did things under the assumption that all you guys had your financials ready to go, tax returns already filed, even though they know they gave you extension. They had the assumption you got to be ready to go and apply for these loans with perfect credit and just get them knocked out A1 like at the top, right? Just like I guess ducks in a row, right? That'd be great, right? But there's really some really good businesses out there that are growing. There's some really good businesses out there that they're making the money, but their financials aren't. They're not together, but the money's there, right? So now is the time. That sounds like you, and I've been that company, so I know what it's like. And I had people coaching, right? So now I'm trying to coach you, but I've been coached. Get it together, right? Because you got a small window. Somebody's gonna walk in behind you with a business that might not even be here in the next 2 years. It's not even as good as yours, not even as profitable as yours, but they can show it on paper, and they will have the advantage of you, and they will take the money for you, and you have to be sitting around somewhere else, crossing your fingers, praying to the Holy Bible that there's going to be a third round of funding because you missed out again. Get your financials together. That's super important. I don't go into details about the money being allocated and about the payment terms, but I just really keep it simple for you guys. It's $370 billion for both programs, the PPP loan program and the Small Business Disaster Loan Program. PPP loans will receive $310 billion. Small Business Disaster Loan Program will receive $60 billion. All right. Both those loans have excellent terms of repayment. I wouldn't say it's free money, but you factor in the amount of money it's going to be, the interest, at the time they give you to pay it off. That's probably, you're not getting any money cheap anywhere else, probably ever again. With that being said, even if this program for people who need the money, right? That's what it's designed for. That's why you see so many companies taking advantage of it. They know it's cheap money. So in some cases, even though they got the cash reserves to go a year, to go longer, in some cases, their financial advisors are recommending that they take the loan out. Now, so even though that's good because it's cheap money, right? So even though that's good financial advice, it kind of puts some of you guys or some of us in a bad spot because some of you us might really need it for many operating costs. And there's people, what I'm trying to say to you in English, there's people out there who are taking the money who really don't need it. And you've seen that on the news. And those people, those are just the guys that we know about with the big companies. I think there's some smaller companies out there taking advantage of the loan program and don't really need it because at the end of the day, if you ask your accountant or bookkeeper, they'll probably say if you can get it, get it. You know, a dollar's worth more today than it is tomorrow. You know, even I know interest compounding, that's great, right? But opportunity cost today is more important than you has today. So it's very, very important. It's very, very important not just to apply for these loans, but to make the preparations for these loans. And that's something that I'm talking about on the news. That's something I want to talk to you about, guys, about. I've seen applications. I've seen financials sent to me, and they're actual. And I'm like, and I had to tell people honestly, like, look, dude, this is not the type of financials they want to see. It is what it is. So if you are in the building, now let me clarify what I'm saying here. If you are in a growing process or a building process, and you just spent the first quarter this year financing a product or using your revenue to pay for something cash, like new equipment, as opposed to using your credit or as opposed to borrowing to get more credit, I think you need to explain that to your bank and explain to them your plan and show them some pro forma projections. Nobody's talking about pro forma projections. I think getting a set of pro forma projections here would be a good thing in place for you if you're trying to sell a bank on the viability of you borrowing this money. What does pro forma mean? It's like an estimate of what you expect your future projections to be. If I get this money, here's what I expect my P&L to be next 2021 or the second half of 2020. Okay. If you have to show. And my thing is, especially if you go through your financials and your financial advisor tells you, hey, you know what, I don't like this isn't really bank ready, a loan ready. I like the idea of you saying, well, look here, once we receive the money, here's what we're going with it, here's what we've done before, here's what we expect to do with it once things are in place. Normally, for new projects, pro forma projections are needed, and I'm not quite sure why nobody's explaining that to people now, but let's just say we'll have this conversation right now. They're not asking for pro forma projections. I'm telling you, get them ready, submit them when you see everything else. And if they didn't ask for them, good. If they don't need them, good. But if they do need them, great. You got them on point, and it's showing that you're proactive and that you're planning for the next phase of the game. All right. So I didn't know a lot of details about the interest rates and things. That's kind of not what I really do. I really want to go into details about things that are really important. Like, of course, the interest rates are important, right? And of course, your needs are important. But I see so many people not being prepared for the actual product itself. It's almost like we'll go over that in a little bit. Let's get you prepared first, right? Because we know there's a need, right? And we know the money's going to be cheap, and there's details go along with that, right? And it's a great program on paper. And I tell people all the time, but none of these programs are going to be executed exactly the way we expect because they're all new programs. They all have kinks in them. And I know we get a little frustrated with the process. I don't think as Americans we should do that because at the end of the day, this is one of the programs I can say since I've been around, and I'm like 40-some years old, this is one of the programs I think probably had the best intentions. You know, I'll go on record as saying I think all these programs, everything from the Stimulus Act, everything related to the CARES Act has the best intentions, all right, on paper, and I think right here in the heart, but I think the execution of each and every single one of them is going to have some bumps in them because they're all relatively new and haven't been tried and tested yet, all right? But at the end of the day, it looks to me like people are doing what they can to get things straightened out and to be as fair as possible. If you got any questions about your particular situation, your lending situation, as a sole proprietorship or a small business, say, give me a call or just drop me a comment below and I'll reach out to you. And I'll see if I can give you my word of advice, my 2 cents on how to prepare for this lending program. Because keep in mind, I have experience borrowing money as a small business owner myself. During the disaster, which is Hurricane Harvey, because I live here in Houston, and before, I have relationships with bankers. I call and ask them questions. You know, even though they might not handle my loan, I might ask them what they're seeing out there. And so far, a lot of things that we've been kind of talking about is things I think other people should have talked about you more in depth And I think we should research more in depth. At the end of the day, I think we're going into a world where people aren't always going to be able to just kind of like hold our hand and walk us through every single thing. We have to be a little bit more proactive, and we have to do our due diligence on things, be a little more cautious and careful. Smile. It's going to get better. It's going to get healthier. We'll get healthier soon, and keep fighting this, and I think everything will be all right. Try to stay as positive as possible. I'm going to leave some more research